It started raining the day I decided to slow down. Not the kind of rain that ruins plans, the soft kind that sounds like forgiveness. It had been months since I'd allowed myself to just stop and listen. The world outside my window had turned into background noise. Cars, screens, deadlines, people talking but not really saying anything. So I left the city. No destination. Just me, my car, and a road that seemed to breathe mist. Somewhere between the hills, I found a small inn by a lake. The kind of place that doesn't show up on maps. The owner, an old man with kind eyes, handed me the keys and said, "Don't worry about the signal. You don't need it here." That night, I sat by the window of my room, listening to the rain tapping the glass. There was no music, no phone, no rush, just the steady rhythm of water meeting earth. It was strange how something so ordinary could sound like peace. The next morning, the world was washed clean. Fog drifted across the lake like slow-moving thought. I walked down to the dock, and there was a woman sitting there, barefoot, her shoes beside her, her hands open to catch raindrops. She smiled. "Morning." I nodded. We didn't speak much. It didn't feel necessary. After a while she said, "You know, rain never really falls the same way twice." I looked at her, waiting for her to explain. She continued, "Every drop lands somewhere different. Every drop has its own moment. Like us." I laughed softly. "That's poetic." She shrugged. "It's just true." We sat there for an hour, watching ripples form and fade. The lake wasn't quiet. It breathed, whispered, responded. It felt alive in a way the city never did. When I finally asked her why she was there, she said, "I come every year on the same week. My dad built this dock. He used to say, if you listen closely, you can hear the rain telling stories. He passed away last year, but I still come to listen." There was no sadness in her voice, just calm acceptance. The kind that comes from knowing that some things never truly leave, they just change shape. For the next few days, we kept crossing paths. Breakfast at the small wooden table, walks by the misty path, silent evenings by the water. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we didn't, but every moment felt full. Not loud, not exciting, just real. One evening, we watched the sunset melt into the lake. The sky turned the color of tea, gold fading into gray. She asked, "Do you ever think about how busy we've become doing nothing important?" I nodded. "All the time." She smiled faintly. "Rain doesn't hurry. Falls, does its part, and disappears. Maybe that's how we're supposed to live, not rushing to be everywhere, just falling where we're meant to." That night, I wrote for the first time in months. Not for work, not for approval, just because I needed to. I wrote about silence, about time, about the kind of peace that doesn't come from noise but from noticing. The next morning, the rain stopped. The air smelled of wet wood and new beginnings. I went down to the dock again, but she wasn't there. Her shoes were gone too. For a moment, I wondered if she'd ever really been there at all. Then I saw a small folded note under the bench. It said, "The stories don't end, they just move to someone else. Listen carefully." I smiled. The lake was still. The clouds were drifting apart. I stayed a few more hours just breathing. For once, I didn't check the time. Didn't think about what was next. Just sat there, watching the reflections tremble on the water, and realizing that peace isn't something you find. It's something you stop running from. When I finally drove away, the road glistened under the soft drizzle. The world felt slower, wider, kinder, and though the rain had quieted, I could still hear its rhythm in my head, a soft reminder that sometimes all you need to do is listen.